Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing a quick unboxing of Storyfold's Wild Woods. This is from Open Owl Studios. This is a solo experience that takes about 30 to 60 minutes per mission, and it does say it has about like a 10-hour campaign that you can play, and the game is actually just going to unfold in front of you that you just get to enjoy. Full disclosure, this was a review copy provided by Open Owl Studios. My friends Steve and Derek, Steve from Coop Guild and Derek from Canje Studios, said that this game would be really fun and I should give it a shot. So when Open Owl Studios reached out to us to give us a review copy, we of course were super excited to get this because of all the high recommendation that Steve and Derek were able to give us. Now, if you're interested in seeing more content on Storyfold, please go check out their channels. I'll put a link to in the description of this video. But we're going to quickly unbox this and see what's inside. And if you're excited to do that, then I need you to meet me at the table. We're going to flip the lid. That's right, flip the lid. There's a little magnetic lid here, and open up the box and see what's inside. I will say as we go through this that there's probably not going to be a lot I'm going to be able to show because this is a full campaign game, and I do not want to spoil too much of the actual game, but I will show off some of the components and at least kind of talk through what this game is all about. So we have a punch board here, and we do have a rules reference sheet. From what I understand, this game is a game that's going to allow you to learn how you play as you play. So it's like an unfold the rules in front of you. I'm going to keep using that reference as much as I can because it's super cool. So it's just a rules reference that's going to give you an idea of what the different cards do and the concepts of the game and how they go through it. Also gives you an idea of how to store the game and how to come back from it. So like I said, there's not a lot in this when it comes to the actual full rules. You're going to learn that as you play through the game. The punch boards are rather self-explanatory because they actually say everything that they're supposed to do. First, we have our light marker. This is kind of tracking our time track for us, and like if it gets in the middle, that's really a good thing. The shadow marker is going to track the antagonist, and if it gets in the middle, that's a bad thing. Your goal is to kind of keep yours up and theirs down. That's kind of going to keep you from losing the scenario. We have our spirit marker. This is going to track our health. Stun tokens are going to be used to stop certain enemies from coming and doing things to you. You can actually stun them and move them to the back of a card queue, and I'll kind of show that in a second. Once that's done, then they aren't able to affect you and do damage to you or move the marker or things of that nature. The next thing we have is our location markers. You're going to place these down on locations once you have completed them to remind yourself of that. The last thing we have is our crystals. These crystals mainly turn into successes. This game is really all about gaining successes on different actions that you have to do. And you're going to roll dice, and based on your roll, you're going to get that many successes. And these crystals are going to help gain those successes. They're probably going to have other things they do as well that may be explained in some of the specific scenarios, but for now that is their main use. Let's take a look at the Storyfold Wild Woods. This is going to be, I believe, the core game book. Now I'm not going to undo a lot of this, but as you can see, it's got a lot of things going for it. There's a huge story in here, and this is just going to unfold around you. Now I'm just going to unfold the beginning of it because I think this is going to pretty much show the board. Many moons ago, and then yep, it shows that this thing in a world of light and shadow. This is going to flip in this direction. There was a girl named Luma, and that's going to flip up, and then it's going to have some, as you can see, story text up here, which we'll do during our playthrough. But then over here are two areas. Everything you see here is pretty much self-explanatory as to what this is going to do. It does go through the different phases of the game, which there aren't very many. From what I understand, there's kind of like two phases, the Luma phase and the Shadow phase. You're going to be gaining dice. You're going to roll those dice to perform different actions. They're going to be in the river, and I'll show the river in just a second. The next part down here, you're going to see you have Luma cards, you have Shadow discards, you have the Shadow deck, and you've got your chapter cards. Of course, your goal is to kind of get through the chapter and keep your light high enough so that the darkness doesn't, or shadow, I should say, win the game, I guess you should say. This is going to be your spirit, as you, of course, is, like I said, the life force of you. I believe you can go through this track a few times based on the chapter. If you get to a point where you can't go any farther, you're going to be drawing shadow cards. Shadow cards bad. Shadow cards bad. We do have some boon cards, and then you have a companion named Brahm. That's a kind of a bear, and he's going to have, or he or she, I should say, I think you're also part of those cards, get to do specific actions based on these cards. You can use them during the game. Moving to the next section of the book, I'm going to flip the page again. This is all prologue, so this is exactly how you're going to start the game. You're going to read this, do this, and then flip this. And you're going to have more up here, which I'm not showing because I'll be showing that during kind of the playthrough that we're going to be doing. This is going to be our river down here, and it extends into the board over on this side. Your goal is, like I said, to keep this as into the middle as possible before this can get to the middle. If it ever gets to the middle, then I believe that's a lose condition for this game. Now, loss in this game doesn't mean that it's end of the game. You got to start again. I believe there's also a fail forward system in most times as well, but that may not always be the case. This down here is going to show you the amount you need on the dice in order to succeed at whatever specific card you're doing. Here is the dice. They have 8-siders mainly, but at some point you might be able to gain a 10-sider or a 12-sider, which is going to make these a little bit easier to do. These are just normal dice. There's nothing about these that are anything different. There's not like, these are not like custom dice of some kind that have symbols or something on them. They're just 8-siders, a 10-sider, and a 12-sider. When you perform your actions to try to complete the objectives here, you're going to have to get successes equal to the number of circles inside of these particular places. So for example, if we wanted to do this one and cross, I would have to get 2 successes, and I'd draw story card 1. I would read the story card and do whatever it says on that card. Once that's completed, I could then do this one, which then I'd have to get again another success using this purple particular action. And for the prologue, I am going to show a few of these cards as well. These are going to show you some of the things that I've been talking about. This is going to kind of help set your character up. There are some cards you're going to read, and we, of course, will do that during the playthrough, but I just wanted to show some of these cards. For example, here's that Luma and Broom card, and then there's just a Luma card, so there are some cards in here. Like I said, they're going to go in that particular area, but here's the 4, I think, main actions you're going to do, which, for example, if we wanted to explore and we needed 3+, we could decide how many dice we want to roll for that particular test to try to get those 3s. Once we do that, we could go on. Now, once we do a specific action, say these action cards are out here, this card would go to the bottom of the river, and whenever there's an empty space in the river, it would fill up. Even if it's this one, say it's this one, then these would fill in back this way, like that, and so on and so forth. And these are just starting actions that you're going to be able to do. Now, of course, there's also going to be enemies that are going to appear out on the board, and they're just basically creatures that have been manipulated by the shadow, and your goal is to try to heal them from that so that you can help save them. See, here's some of these shadow creatures out here. They've been affected by the shadow, and so our goal is to try to save them from that. When you're able to succeed at all of these different things, you're going to move into the next game area or into the next part of the story.
High class roller, find yourself on top of a hill. You buy yourself a first class bungalow.
Here's the other part of the board that I want to show. This is going to show you can discard creatures from the river. You're going to clean up the river. Crystals stay on cards. So if we had a card, like remember I talked about those crystals, say we got 2 crystals, we decided to put them on this heal card. We totally could. Now when you get the crystals, you have to choose where they want to go. So say we decided to say we got 2 crystals. I could put 2 crystals on the heal card, let's say. Or if I know I really wanted to get this card and this card to work, I could split them up when I get them. It's up to me. Now when I go to perform one of these actions, then I'd be able to gain extra successes based on the amount of crystals that are there. And while we're waiting to put those crystals in places, they would go onto this area of the board. We'd put our location markers, stun tokens, and any dice that we've already used, we'd put over there. Now the travel step is, of course, after we've completed potentially this area or it tells us to move on. We would do all these different things to move to the next scene, which then we'd flip this over and we'd go to the next scene on this. Most likely there's a little bit of story text and then something else we'd have to try to be able to accomplish. We do have an exploring deck that you're going to gain cards from, maybe doing this particular action. It does say for each success, draw 1 explore card, choose 1 to keep, and discard the others. Now let's say I had to gain 3 successes in order to complete what I wanted to on this. Say this needed 3 successes. I would then, let's say I only got 2, not the crystals, but say I got 2 successes. That's it. So I didn't quite make it. Then I could stop potentially going for that roll and decide to use this instead. So instead I would gain the 2 explore cards and keep 1 and discard the other. So even though you fail at a particular mission objective you're trying to do, you can still gain a benefit from it. Kind of like heal. So say we tried to heal a creature and we did not succeed, we could still gain, for each success class, we could move up our spirit instead. So these cards are kind of double use based on whether you make it or not. Now, of course, you can always choose to just do this action and gain a lot of successes and heal yourself if you're actually falling behind in health. Now, the river continues in this direction. We actually are going to be able to put cards over in this area as well. The problem is you can never do any of the actions that are over in this area because there's not a number associated with them unless, of course, the story has provided something of that nature. And if you ever have to put a 7th one out here, like it says, you're going to draw a creature and then you'd have to just take the damage from that creature. Here's one of the creatures from the prologue. This is a Walled Vark. You're going to have an on-play ability. You're going to put it in 6, so this is going to clog up one of these spots. If you had anything in 6, it would move back on down the line. The next thing it has here is after activation, end of the river. So after we do activate it, it would go towards the end of the river. Down here, it's going to show you how much damage it's going to do to you, and it's also going to show you what you need to heal this monster. If we decided to try to heal this creature, we'd use this and try to get this many successes, would be 2. If you notice, there's a yellow mark as well. That is going to be the light one, where if we decided to do our light action, that would stun the enemy. It says here, gain 1 success to light 1 creature, and if we light him, he would go to the end of the river and have a stun token on him. Per usual is based on how the game is played, but that's kind of how you deal with this guy. If you defeat this creature, or sorry, if you cure this creature, save this creature, heal him, you're going to be able to gain 2 crystals then that you could place down on your other cards that you have. And that's really about how this game works. Now, there are 5 different chapters in the game, and they do say they have replayability because there could be different things that unfold based on choices that you make, from what I understand. I could be wrong about that. I have not played the game, so I can't fully give you a 100% accurate representation of that, but it does say that on the game box. There is a save box here where you can put the different cards that you have available to you, where you are in the story, and and what's happening in the story, so you could spread out your cards. So say we're doing the prologue, we could have our cards ready to go and put them into these areas if we ever have to clean the game up. And there you have it. That is Storyfold by Open Owl Studios. I'm really excited to dig into this game. I can hardly wait to show you how this game plays and what this game provides. There's a lot of resemblance to a particular video game I played called Limbo, I think is what the name of the game is, where you're kind of a character and you're kind of moving through an area world and you have to try to save the world. Or there's another video game I think called Ori something, where he tries to save the forest from or there's a game called Ori where I can't remember the full name of the game, but I played through that game too. A super fun video game that had the idea of where you have to kind of save this forest from the darkness that is impeding it and encroaching onto it. So this game I think has that same kind of vibe where you're going to learn what's going on in this world as you play through it, and you're going to be able to have influence in the world, and you're going to have the story just unfold around you. This is going to be super fun. I'm excited for this. There's just such a mystery about this game that I am super excited to dig into it and show you what this is all about. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the unboxing of Storyfold Wildwoods. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more content comes out. We'll be doing Storyfolds very soon. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments section below. Have you had a chance to dig into Storyfolds? Is this a game that you knew about, not know about? Is this something that you might want to try to pick up from Open Owl Studios? I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments section below. Now, if you're interested in supporting the channel, the link to our Patreon is in the description of this video. Those that have joined the Patreon are shown here on the screen. Thank you so much for your patronage. It means the world to me. If you're interested in being a Patreon, some of the perks that they get is they get to watch our videos our playthroughs usually a day or 2 ahead of time without commercial interruptions. Also, if there's anything that we'd have to do, like picking characters for a game or having to level up characters in certain paths, that's something we have our Patreon supporters help us try to do. That way they have the ability to influence the games that Colin and I play. Also, please go check out Derek from Canje Studios and Steve from Coop Guild. I'll put a link to their channels in the description of the video if you're looking for more Storyfold or anything else co-op or solo related. And finally, I'd like to again thank Open Owl Studios for giving us the ability to provide content for this game. They were able to provide us with this review copy, and thank you so much for that. I am super excited to dig into this game. So there you have it. That is Storyfold Wildwoods. And if you're excited to see a playthrough of this, or of course anything else that Colin and I have coming up, then I need you to meet me at the table.